Good morning, Tamara. It's Wednesday, and today we're going to talk about rape. There's really no better way to introduce that topic. So if you don't want to hear me talk about rape, if you're sensitive to the issue, please click on the dancing pig to be redirected to a video about piglets. There have been some pretty disappointing allegations permeating the internets in the last week or so concerning some male YouTube celebrities who have been abusing their fame in coercive and abusive sexual relationships with younger and, in some cases, underage female fans. One of these is someone I've watched for years. I've watched this person's relationships, his music videos, his vlogs. He's made me laugh, and I looked up to him. And he plays a huge part in why I started watching and making videos. It's really disappointing when people you idolize do something wrong. They have much farther to fall from the big fancy pedestals that we put them on. We actually do look up to our celebrities, look to them to tell us what's funny or cool, look to them for guidance. The thing is, this whole thing presents a whole new dynamic that I'd just not thought of before. Of course, we're all wary of the authority figure who's using his power to boost his credibility or to not be held accountable in a crime. We've all heard of acquaintance rape or the trusted friend or family member who probably shouldn't have been trusted. But an internet personality wielding his celebrity to get young, impressionable fans to sleep with him, that's just something I'd simply not considered before. And the problem is that many of these people are operating under this no means no model of consent, which is great, wonderful, absolutely. No does mean no, always, every time. But isn't that only half of the equation? Because it does imply that the absence of a no equates to a yes, and that's just not true. In fact, it's dangerous. No means no, and consent is an emphatic and continuing yes, and nothing less. Of course, there's been no shortage of the debate online about the specific allegations against these YouTubers. They range from really supportive of the victims and helpful additions to the conversation to people defending or apologizing on behalf of the abusers, or worse, accusing those who have come forward with their stories of being attention seekers or liars. I just have to say that these people don't do this for the attention. Going forward with these stories is going to be very, very difficult. They're risking quite a lot, as well as reliving what they've already gone through. The bravery of the girls who have come forward is impressive, and it's opened the door for a lot of important discussion. The abuse of the creator-fan relationship, the blind defense of our idols, and the blurred definition of consent. What really made me want to join in the conversation was this post I saw on Tumblr. Don't worry, it's linked below. Now, maybe we should be cautious about crossing the threshold into the realm of mob mentality, because once the first story regarding Alex Day came out, I think within 6 days, 13 women had come forward, or girls I should say, 13 girls had come forward with their own stories. Alex Day himself wrote a public apology on his blog, acknowledging that all these things had happened, so no one is saying that these girls are lying. But is it worth noting that many of the stories that came out later in the week weren't exactly abusive stories or stories of abuse, but rather just Alex Day being a shitty friend who got angry when girls told him no? See, girls aren't telling these stories to join the mob or to gang up on Alex Day. They're doing it so that they can give some of the more serious stories some credibility to back them up. This particular Tumblr user says, because they were users, they were pests that didn't give in straight away and did say or do things which made me give in, I was still the one who wanted them around. I was the one who made the final decision of saying yes. If you're having sex because you feel like you need to in order to keep that person around, can we really call that consent? Because I think I'd call it manipulation or coercion. If you're wondering, consent laws have to be very clear, very specific in order for them to hold up in court. So because of that, they vary from state to state. So if you are sexually active, or if you plan on being sexually active in the future, or if you've got sexual organs, it is so important that you know your state's consent laws. Even if you're thinking, I got a girlfriend, I don't need to worry about that stuff. Yes, You do. It's one of those things that should be taught in comprehensive sex education in school. Everyone should know what consent is. Consent is not 50 no's and a yes. Consent is not being a pest until the other person gives in. Consent is not breaking down someone until they're too tired to argue anymore. Consent is an emphatic and continuing yes, and nothing less. It's disheartening to see people defending the accused, but I am happy to say that I've seen a lot more support for the victims, but unfortunately I think tons of people are forgetting some of the most important do's and don'ts when it comes to dealing with victims of sexual abuse or sexual harassment. I've seen a lot of attacks on one of the abuser's ex-girlfriend, saying she's handling it the wrong way. She should be less public. She shouldn't have tweeted about her breakup. She should be more vocal about it. Because she hasn't made a Tumblr post speaking out against Alex Day, it's like she's supporting him. People are forgetting that it's absolutely not up to them to decide how she deals with the problem. If she wants to post to her followers about the breakup, fine. If she wants to keep quiet, fine. If she wants to cut ties with everyone involved for a while or forever, great, that's her prerogative. Until she starts attacking or abusing other people or engaging in self-destructive behavior, it's absolutely up to her and her alone. She is free to deal with or ignore any events or anyone that she wants. And that goes for all victims of harassment and abuse. Okay, the last point I want to make is gonna seem fairly obvious, but it bears emphasizing. People are people. Women who wear short skirts are people. Women who have sex outside of marriage are people. Men who have sex with other men are people. And victims and survivors of assault and attacks are people. They are not your spectacles to watch as the story unfolds, and they are not fragile little porcelain dolls for you to protect. They're people. So when one of them, maybe one you love, comes to you with the story of an attack or an assault, let him or her be the one to set the tone for the healing. You don't get to set the pace, and you don't get a say in what needs to be done unless they ask you directly. So, I'm going to leave you on a happy note with a book recommendation. It's called The Purity Myth by Jessica Valenti. I'm holding up my Kindle as if you can see. You can probably guess what it's about, and I'm not going to go into too much detail here because I don't want to offend anyone. That's a video for a whole other day. But just by coincidence, I was reading this book during my recent harassment in Portugal, and it really, really helped me work through a lot of those feelings of helplessness and feeling defenseless, and whether or not, I had brought it on myself by wearing leggings as pants. I really believe this book will help you too. Yes, you. No matter what your situation is, the Purity Myth is really the feminist literature that you need it to be. So if you've been raped or attacked or abused emotionally, verbally, if you've been harassed or catcalled on the street, if you have a vagina, this book is an absolute must-read. Or a penis. No, not... I didn't mean that or a penis is a must-read. I meant if you have a vagina or a penis, this book is a must-read. Just go and read it. Do that, and I'm going to go do the same. Till next time.